Hi, Alok. Human sound is audible. Can you confirm? Human sound is audible. Okay. So now we are going to start with the Jenkins side. So before Jenkins, we have to discuss some theoretical part of the CI/CD pipeline. Okay. So today we'll be going to mostly discuss about the theoretical parts of the Jenkins. Okay. That how what is CI/CD pipeline, how it works, everything. Okay. And from tomorrow we'll be seeing the installation of Jenkins, everything. Okay. So setup part, everything will be taken care tomorrow. Today we are going to see theoretical part of the CI/CD pipeline. Everything. So this document I already uploaded. Okay. So if you'll understand like what is CI/CD pipeline, why it is popular, what is Jenkins, right? This is the normal discussion whenever you discuss as a DevOps engineer, they are definitely going to ask you about the CI/CD pipeline and everything. Okay. So word CI meaning is continuous integration, okay, and CD meaning is continuous delivery or continuous deployment. Sometimes some people say it as a continuous delivery, sometimes it is known as a continuous deployment. When it will be known as a continuous delivery and when it will be known as a continuous deployment, that I will tell you in the later part, okay. So CI and CD we understood that continuous integration, continuous deployment, right? Now the thing is pipeline. What is the pipeline here? So pipeline is just a process, right? Like take an example, if you want to prepare a food, right? So there will be some fixed process that you will be buying the vegetables, then washing it, cutting it, right? And then you will be putting it on the while, like you'll be putting it on the gas stoves like that way, right? So this is a process. You cannot say that if first I will cut the vegetable and cook, then I will go in the market and buy the vegetable. That doesn't make sense, right? Until and unless you are not buying it, you cannot jump to the next process. Okay, and without chopping you cannot just put it on the gas stove like that way. So basically there is a process. Once the first step will be completed, then only you can jump to the second will be completed, then only you can jump to the third step. Exactly same things happens in the pipeline also. Okay, so in the pipeline, what is the thing here is, take an example, this is a pipeline. Okay, and if somebody is going to ask you which cube is going to come out first, there are four different color cubes there, right? If all the cubes are entering from this side, so from this particular side, which cube is going to come out first, right? So definitely the yellow one, because until and unless this yellow one is not going to come out, how this three color is going to come out, right? So this will come out, then only this second will come out, then only this is going to come out. If this will be stuck, all the three are stuck, right? So exactly same thing in the CI/CD pipeline as well. If there are five steps to do the work, okay, until and unless first step is not completed, it is not successful, you cannot jump to the second step. Second step is not completed, you cannot jump to the third step, and this process will keep continuing. Now the thing is why we are using this CI/CD, right? What is the benefit of this? Okay. So first we have to understand, if there was no CI/CD was involved, then what was the problem, right? When there was no continuous integration was there, there was no Jenkins, nothing like that, right? So that time how that thing were working, okay? So we all know that from the first day of the lecture, we are talking about whenever you want to create a software or something, there are some steps here to follow, like plan, code, build, test, right? Deploy, monitor, operate. So these all are the part of the software development lifecycle. So when there was no continuous integration, no CI/CD was there. So what was the thing was, all the developers were writing the code and they were pushing it in some repository like GitHub or something. Okay. Now take an example, they took 3 to 4 days time to take or upload all the code to the repository. Once the code is uploaded, everything in the repository, then only there will be a person who will integrate all this code. Okay. Integrate all the codes means they will collect all the code from all the repositories that is pushed by the developers. They will try to merge everything together, right? And take an example, this merging and collecting all the code, again, it took 2 days time, right? To do all the collect all the codes across the different repositories. Once the collection is done, then they are going to move this particular code, all the collected code to the testing team that you have to test the code. Now, since there are so many codes are there, so testing team is going to take the time. Second example, 3 days, 4 days time, this testing team also took to test the entire code, everything. So total how many days completed? So here 2 to 3 days came, 2 to 3 days here, right? And 2 to 3 days here, let's say, right? So after 7 to 8 days, okay, if this testing team is saying that after 8 days, 10 days like that, whatever the code you pushed 8 days back or 10 days back, right? But that is having some error. Now, once you got that, after 10 days, this testing team is notifying a message to this developer that whatever the code you written 10 days back, that is having some error. So it is not like these all 10 days when this work were going on, this developer were keep sitting. Maybe this developer were assigned to some different tasks. They are working on some different projects. They started to write some different code, right? And to that particular person, if you are saying 10 days, 15 days after that, that whatever the code you written 10 days back, 15 days back, that is having error. So for them, again, they will forget everything, right? What are the things they done 10 days back, 15 days back? Again, they have to go to the entire code. What are the changes they done during that time? They will try to find the error. They will try to solve it, right? Again, they will upload the latest code. Again, this process will continue. Again, the testing team will test it and take an example. Again, some error is there, right? So again, after 10 to 15 days, this developer are going to get to know that some error is there. So this doesn't make sense that if you are doing some error, you should notify it soon, right? As soon as possible that you done that error. Because take an example, if I'm writing the code and just after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, somebody is saying me that whatever the code you written that is wrong, then I can easily understand, okay, this was the logic that time, so now I can change the code, right? But after 15 days, 20 days, somebody is coming and there are 2000 line of the code, 5000 line of the code, then again I have to go through all the code to get the idea of it, right? Then only I can do the changes. So this type of the problem were there. Okay. So that's what I written here. That testing guy notified to the developer that some error is coming in the code. Now developer will again sit and check the entire code to find the error, then update the code and again push the code to the GitHub. And this was the time taking process. And hence the delivery on time was frequently not possible. Okay, so when there was no continuous integration, this type of the problem was coming. Okay, and that's why delivery on time cannot be possible because just fixing a bugs you are taking 10 to 15 days of time. So when you are creating an application and if 10 to 15 bugs are coming, so just see now 10 to 10 into 10, right? Total 100 days of time just you are taking to fix the bugs only, right? So that doesn't make sense. Now, once the continuous integration comes in the picture, then how the things changed. Now, still developer is going to upload the code to the GitHub. Okay. But now here continuous integration comes in the picture. Okay. And as soon as this developer is going to upload the code, there will be a tool like Jenkins who is going to take the code from this repository. They will pass it to the build team. Build team will build the code. So whatever the integration team previously they were taking 2 to 3 days time manually integrating everything, right? Now the build team is doing it in a single go, right? A software is there who will build entire application, combine everything in less than 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, maybe maximum 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That's it. Once the build team is created the build file, then as soon as the build file will be created, Jenkins is going to give that code to the testing team. Now testing team will test the code, they will test everything, right? And once the testing is done, then they will deploy that code. That means now this application is running and developer can test it that yes, client can test it, customer can test it that yes, application is working perfectly. Again, they will update something, a new thing, right? Again, they will do the changes and this time this testing team got some error, right? As soon as they will get the error, because see, this build process completed in less than 5 minutes. Testing team tested the entire code in less than 10 minutes, 15 minutes using the tools like Selenium, JUnit, Cypress, right? And once, as soon as they will get the error, they will notify to the developer that your code is failed. And since the code is failed, so they will get the idea that, okay, this code is failed at this particular line, so let's do the changes. Again, they will update it. Again, this process will continue. And as soon as the deploy will happen, they will provide a message that your code was successfully deployed. So they will get to know that, okay, whatever the code I written, that was successful, right? So now we are saving the time. Whatever the things you are doing in the 10 days, now you are doing in 10 to 20 minutes, right? So now we can release the application faster in the market. And also here it is not like this continuous integration will be keep waiting until and unless all the code are going to be added, right? As soon as one developer also uploaded the code, they will test that particular code only. Take an example, you are designing a Flipkart application, right? If the first developer written the code of the login page, so they will test it login page only. That is, the login page is working perfectly fine, well and good, fine. Now, second time when second developer upload the sign up page code, and then we are getting some error, then we know that error is not from the login page, because login page we already tested in the previous cycle, right? So definitely the new error, whatever it is coming from the sign up page only. So now when the developer will get the message, they will understand that I don't have to go to the entire code. I have to go to the code of sign up page only, because login page was already successful. It was working perfectly. So now the problem is solved. Previously, everybody have to do all the code files if some error is coming. Now they know that because they are doing the part-wise deploying. So, okay, if error is coming, so this error is from sign up page. If error is coming, this is from payment page on. So they will get to know. So that's what here I written. Here developer is not pushing the entire application code at a time. They divided the code in the part wise, like first day they will just push the login code, second day they will push the payment code, like that. So in that case, what is the benefit? Benefit is as developer are pushing the code part wise, okay, and also due to this continuous integration, testing team is keep testing this code everything part wise, right? Then they will also keep notifying also if some error is there. So if error is coming, then the developer have to just go through that particular part of the code, not the entire code. And hence it will save the time and it will help to deliver the project quickly. So now after understanding this logic, what this continuous integration is doing. So now if somebody is going to ask you what is continuous integration, so you can just tell them that continuous build plus continuous testing is known as the continuous integration, right? Because what we are doing in the continuous integration, nothing, just continuous build and continuous testing. As soon as developer is uploading the code, we are building it, we are testing it, we are building it, we are testing it. So these things comes under the continuous integration part. Make sense? Is it clear? Okay. Now CI/CD pipeline. So this is the actually CI/CD pipeline look like something, okay, where version control is the place where you are going to upload the code, then build cycle will continue. So see here, just try to understand that as soon as developer will upload the code, then only you can jump to the build, right? Without uploading the code, you cannot come here. Similarly, once the build will happen, then only unit testing will happen. Unit testing means testing the part wise. Once testing part-wise is done, then only you can deploy the code. Then only some auto testing will also happen before deploying to the production, right? Then you will deploy to the production, and then at last also monitoring will keep happening. And at any stage, take an example at build stage, some error is coming. So they will give the feedback at this stage only that your code is not working, and this all entire cycle is not going to continue because build is failed. Now again developer is going to upload the latest code. Again they will try to build it. Once the successful done at build stage, then only the code will come to the unit test. Again some error is coming. They will provide the feedback and all other steps is not going to happen. Once the unit test will successful, then only they can jump to the deploy. So like this way cycle will keep continuing. And if unit test is failing, that doesn't mean next time your pipeline is running, you are not going to check at this position, this position. Maybe second time you are running at build stage only it is failing. Then again you have to run it, right? All the process should successful, then only you can come to reach at the last. And once at the last you will come, everything is working fine, then they will provide the feedback that okay, everything is working perfectly. So that's what the thing is. This feedback is coming from every level of pipeline. If at any level some error is going to come, developer will get the feedback. If code passes till the last level, then developer will notify that code is successfully deployed. Okay. And this was the basically image that we discussed in the starting also, if you remember. Okay, this was the image basically. Plan, code, build, test, deploy, operate, monitor. Okay. Exactly same thing. Plan, code, build, test, deploy, operate, monitor. Okay. So basically this was the place where I said you that first planning will done, then coding is going to happen, then Jenkins will take the code, then pass it to the build team. Build team is going to create the build file. Then Jenkins will pass it to the testing team. From testing team, it is going to the deploy team, then operate team, monitor team. So this entire thing is known as the DevOps cycle. Okay. And the between this, who is taking care of all these things is the Jenkins. Jenkins is the integration tool who is integrating all these steps together. Okay. And that's why the Jenkins logo looks like something just Jenkins logo. Okay. This is similar to a restaurant waiter. Okay. Whatever the work restaurant waiter is doing, exactly same thing Jenkins also do. Okay. Like restaurant waiter, what they do, they come to your table, take the order, pass it to the chef. Chef will prepare the food, they will take the food, they will deliver it to your table. So exactly same thing, Jenkins is also taking the code, passing it to the build team, taking the build file, passing it to the test team. Then after getting the test report, they are passing that build file to the deployment team. Then they are passing that information to the operate team, then monitor team. If some error is coming, they will quickly notify to the planning team. So this is the work done by the Jenkins. Now Jenkins is a open source project. Open source project meaning is it is freely available. Nobody have to pay any charges or something. Second thing, it is written in Java programming language and it can run on any operating system. Okay, so Jenkins is not dependent on any things like you can run it only on the Windows or Linux or something. You can run it on any operating system, and it is written in Java programming language. And Jenkins by default works on the port 8080. Okay, and since it is open source, so there are so many community support will be there, so many plugins are available. So whatever the use cases you can find of, you are getting some error or something, you can get community support. There are so many people who are contributing to the Jenkins on daily basis. Okay, Jenkins will help you to automate the entire software development life cycle because it is helping you to automate the entire CI/CD pipeline, right? Now, if we'll try to see the entire thing together, whatever the things we discussed from the starting, that whenever developer is writing the code, we integrate all that code of all developers at that point of time and we build it, then test it, then deliver this. So basically our process is we'll be taking all the code, we are combining the codes, we are building it, we are testing it, and we are deploying it. That's it. And this entire process, whatever you are doing of this software development lifecycle, this is known as a CI/CD. Okay. And because of this continuous integration, because we are doing the keep continuous building and continuous testing, now the bugs or whatever the error is going to come, we don't have to wait for 10 days, 15 days. It can be reported fast. It can be rectified fast. And that's why delivery becomes faster. Okay. Now, what is the workflow of Jenkins? How the Jenkins is working? So if you'll see here, developer is going to upload the code to the Git. From the GitHub, the code is going to taken by the Jenkins. Then Jenkins will pass that code to the build team. Build team will use the software like Maven to build the file. Once the build file is created, then Jenkins is going to send it to the testing team. Testing team is going to use the software like Selenium to create a report, everything. They will pass it to the quality assurance team. Quality assurance team is the person who is taking care of the graphical user interface part, whether your application UI is working perfectly fine or not. Once this all report will be clear, right? Everything works perfectly fine. Then only Jenkins will pass that application to the deployment team or the delivery team, okay, to deploy that application or to run that application in the delivery side. So whatever the part you are doing in the top, right? Taking the code, passing it to the gate, continuous building, continuous testing, these all things comes under the continuous integration. And whatever the things you are doing downside, this all things known as a continuous deploy or delivery. Okay. What is the difference between the deployment and delivery? Okay. So just try to understand for this, like take an example, you are buying two mobile phones. Okay. One for your grandparents and one for your brother. So when you are buying a two smartphone for one for brother, one for grandparents. So when whatever the mobile phone you are going to give to your grandparents, right? In that mobile phone, you have to do the unboxing, right? You have to configure everything. You have to put the SIM box, right? You have to put the email account. You have to configure everything. You have to give the Wi-Fi password. Everything you have to manually configure it, right? Because your grandparents will be not able to do by themselves about this all latest technology, everything. But exactly same mobile phone when you are giving to your brother, you don't have to worry about anything. He know how to create the Gmail account, how to set up the password, everything like that, right? He can configure everything. So that's where the logic comes between delivery and deploy. Delivery is client is already a technical person. They don't know how to run that application, how to use it. So if I will just share that application to them, they know how to deploy it, how to make it running, everything. Now, in the deploy case, client does not know anything about this. Client is a non-technical person. Then what we have to do? We have to go to the client side. We'll install the application. We'll configure the application. We'll make sure that application is running successfully. And this is known as an on-site opportunity. In some company, you'll see that people are saying that, okay, I'm going on-site. Okay. That means they are going to the client location. They will be training their employees, okay, to be comfortable with this application, this software, everything, right? So this type of the thing is known as the deploy. And when you are directly delivering the application without thinking of if and but, right? In that case, delivery is happening. And for every work in the Jenkins side, there is a word called plugin. Okay. So anybody here aware about the extensions in the browser? Anybody know about extensions in the browser? No. You don't know these all things, these all extensions like this type of the thing? No, right? So like in the browsers, if you want to do something, right? So we can download the extensions for that particular thing. Like if I want to use the VPN, right? So I can just you enable this extension here and this will create a VPN, right? Similarly, if you want to see something in the PDF edit or something, then we can give that extension, right? We can write something, then we can do some, right? If you want to download some videos or something, then we have the IDM module like that. For all the work, there are different extensions are there. Similarly, in Jenkins also, if you want to have some plugin or something, right? So this plugin is basically defined for different use cases. Like take an example, if somebody want to integrate their Jenkins with the GitHub, then you have to download the GitHub plugin. If you want to integrate Jenkins with the Maven, then you have to download the Maven plugin. If you want to integrate the Jenkins with some multi-branch pipeline, you have to download the multi-branch pipeline. If you want to do the auto scan, for that you'll be again downloading another plugin. If you want to do the SSH to any machine, you'll be doing the SSH plugin. You want to connect to the Docker, Kubernetes. For everything, there are different plugins available. Okay. So whatever the work you want to do, whatever the integration you want to do in the Jenkins, you have to download that proper plugin. Then only it is going to happen. Okay. So these all things will be seen one by one. Okay. Once will be start the installation, everything. Okay. And till now, if you'll see what are the workflow we discussed. So workflow is something like that. Developer is going to put the code on the GitHub. Jenkins will pull the code and send it to the for build. Okay. Once the build is done, Jenkins is pulling that code and they will send it to the software like Selenium for doing the testing. Once the testing is done, then Jenkins will pull that code and it will send to some location where they will store that build file, everything. Then at last that Jenkins will take the decision and deploy that particular code. Okay. And Jenkins, other than that, can also is useful for doing the scheduling the task. Like take an example, if somebody want to schedule a task on 8 a.m. morning on every day. So you can schedule with the Jenkins that Jenkins, you have to run this particular task on morning 8 a.m. You can say that Jenkins, I want to run this particular task on every Monday morning. That also Jenkins will take care on every Monday they will run it. So you can schedule like that also. You can say to the Jenkins that every 2 hours or 5 hours also you can run this code. So Jenkins will take care of all these things. Okay. So scheduling everything you can take care with the help of the Jenkins. So is it clear up to here? Any confusion, anything? Okay. And Kubernetes practical, have you ever completed all of them or are you? Have you started with Kubernetes? Nobody has started till now with Kubernetes. Okay, try to complete it and try to revise this entire theoretical part. This will be important for you for your theoretical discussion in your interviews whenever they will ask you something question related to CI/CD. If you're able to read all these documents, you'll be easily able to explain it. Okay, and tomorrow comes with fresh mind. Remember everything is all concept. Then we'll start with the installation. Okay, and once the installation will complete, we'll start the practical of the Jenkins from tomorrow itself. Okay. So mostly 1.5 week, your entire syllabus is going to be completed. Okay. So most probably by end of the next week, we'll be completing the entire thing. Okay. So just try to complete this and then we'll start with the Jenkins and most probably by end of this week, we'll be completing the Jenkins too. Okay. Any question, anything? Okay then. Try to revise this documentation. Okay. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day.